I want to also give you an alternative theory that you won't hear in much of the media about why there has been this spike in COVID-19 cases. Courtesy of Dr. Scott Atlas. One of the nice things about Dr. Atlas is that he has impeccable credentials. You know, usually the way the libs do things, they say, well, you know, this person, it doesn't matter what their argument is. You know, we have a bunch of libs who, you know, went to Harvard, and so they must be smarter, even though these schools they're all just, it's all a game now. They're credentialing institutions. People come out of them completely ignorant, and a lot of morons go to the best schools in the country for a lot of different things. It's just true. I'm telling you the truth. But Dr. Atlas shared the following. This was up on Fox News. The recent surges in U.S. coronavirus cases can be traced to two key factors: crowds of protesters and proximity to the U.S.-Mexico border. Dr. Scott Atlas told the Hoover Institution over the weekend, the Hoover Institution told Fox News over the weekend, most of the cases in the Southwest, California, Arizona, and Texas, are occurring in counties closest to the U.S.-Mexico border. When you look at the southern counties of California, Arizona, and the bordering counties of Texas with the Mexico border, these are where most of the cases are really exploding. And when you look at the Mexico map and in Mexico, that's where their cases are. Their cases are in the northern border zone states, and it turns out the timeline here correlates much more to the Mexico timeline of increasing cases than anything else. Spikes in Texas, Florida, and Arizona don't essentially line up with reopening, but Mexico's surge and the recent protests that have gripped the U.S. When you look really closely at these so-called reopening policies, whether it's in Georgia or Florida or Texas, we didn't really see a big correlation of cases and hospitalizations from that. And he said, that's really not true. That's sort of some sloppy thinking, I think, again. We really have to look closely at why these things are happening. By the way, California didn't really reopen, yet they have cases coming up. Why is that? I mean, that's because these cases don't really correlate to that. They correlate mainly to two things: the big thousands and thousands of people with protesting, sharing megaphones, screaming. That's a setup to spread cases. And also, when you look at the analysis of the border counties, that's a tremendous amount of cases coming over the border and exchanging with families in the northern Mexico states. My friends, let me ask you this. Do you think the media will tell you the truth about the likelihood of the correlation of protests about Black Lives Matter and statue toppling and all this other stuff and the spread of this disease? No, because it undermines their emotions. Were the single most important factor for the left, right? I mean, they were angry, they wanted to protest. So your life and public health and all that was all pushed aside because of racist cops. All of a sudden, the real pandemic was racist cops. This is intellectually indefensible, and it's not true. It's reckless. It's dumb. People supporting this were being dumb. And now we're to believe that all of a sudden there's a surge in all these states in COVID-19 cases, and it has nothing to do with the thousands and thousands of people who have come together in these protests, screaming and yelling all day, right next to each other. Remember, this isn't normal out. I always say outdoor is very low risk. Well, not if you're standing next to somebody shouting and shouting for hours, yeah, maybe you can get coronavirus that way. Doesn't that make sense? I mean, no one's saying that being outdoors means that there's like a magic, safety shield around you from COVID-19, but it just means if you're being normal and going outside, going about your normal business, you're not going to get it. But it doesn't matter what the data shows. The media will never admit that protests had anything to do with this or that the U.S.-Mexico border has anything to do with this. Why? The narrative. Hey, Team Buck, thank you so much for watching The First on YouTube. If you like this video, please click that little thumbs up button so then it will log as liked. And also, if you want to see more great content from The First, please click subscribe.